fine. Also possible.
Again.
I have to, because if not, Sandra's getting mad at me, but the rest will run. Give them another push in a minute, and then we are good to go.
Yes.
Do we need to set up the camera again? But I think that's fine, right?
We're already live, buddy.
Then I will give them another push, and then we can give it a go. It's not like in school, you can come to us. We don't bite. I see more pizza, that's great. And also the beer is coming.
The most important thing. Thank you, sir.
No, all good. Milk, beer, Coke, wine, everything is more important than me. I totally understand that part. All good. I had a talk last week with a colleague of mine. I said, yeah, maybe you do a meetup without beer or any kind of beverages. I said, no, why are you doing a meetup then?
Still enjoying their pizza.
That's not now. We don't do that.
Hi, Matthijs.
Yeah, that's
Good to see you guys.
Fun out of.
Yeah, right.
Hopefully everything is very audible. It's actually live, yes. Oh, it's here.
Did you already put me on?
Yes, you're on. Demo effect.
Yes.
Do we have everyone in yet?
No, they are working on the beer, on coffee part.
Ah, of course.
Well, without beverage, you know.
Slowly get started.
Yes. Next time we open at 6 and start at 7.
Yeah, we're already running out of it at the time box.
Yeah.
Horrible facilitators.
Who talks about time box, right?
Yes.
Yes. So I give it another try. A little bit closer to me. I mean, we have a big room prepared, but you can come to me. Not too far.
We will not bite.
Yes, follow the German.
Those are your words.
That was not on record, I hope.
Yes, it was.
What?
Speaking of record, as you see over here, we have a nice area. This is actually being live streamed. So in a minute, we'll ask for some volunteers who would like to be part of the actual live stream experiment. This itself is one big experiment to us as well. We've never run this, so feel free to provide us with any feedback that we have. My name is Sander. This is Tom. Tonight is not about us, so we'll leave it at that. This is more about you, your knowledge that we're going to unlock, help you guys unlock that on leveling up your leadership skills with liberating structures. Before that little crash course on post-its, that's what you often see, especially in courses. When you rip one off, and Jesse Howing taught me this, you rip one off, it's crooked, it doesn't work. So what you're gonna do? You're gonna tear it off to the side, right? No, it bends as well. So what you did, if you push it gently between your fingers and then slowly take it off, genius, it's flat. Right?
Already worth it, right? So.
Well, that was the meetup. Good, it's useful. Also, please, if you write with pen, it's not going to be very readable. Throughout the room, we have these small cards where you have Post-its, where you have Sharpies, you have everything that you need. So my question or my recommendation is to read or write with the Sharpie. It actually is readable. Make sure that you write a single item propose it because it's going to help us throughout liberating structures as well. If you want to make it stand out, either create pictures and create a nice box. It's going to make it stand out. It's a lot more attractive doing it like that. Only one rule tonight: people are not resources and shall not be addressed as such. It's a really nice, interesting topic on beer. More on that later. Speaking of beer, after this, there's more beer if you want, and probably more pizza, judging by the boxes that we still have left. Bathroom is on the other side of the wall, so if you make a U-turn, you can find the bathroom. Any other logistics?
Yeah, as said, this area you see this little small line is live. So if you don't want to be on any kind of video or tone or whatsoever, stay out of this line. Yeah, I'll put clothes on and
Minus
then
one glass.
there goes the glass. Yeah, plus that, I would say it's not only beer afterwards. If you manage to sneak out to get something more to drink, that's also totally fine. He tries to push you to the end, but you can also do that in between actually. And if you have any kind of questions along the way to us, it's an experiment to us as well. So just ask us, because the main idea is that we shut up as soon as possible, and then it's up to you guys. That's the plan.
And to get that done as soon as possible, there are a couple of these stickies throughout the room. So here we have one over there on that wall, throughout also on the column. What I would like you guys to do, or would like you guys to do, is to pair up with someone, preferably someone you don't know. Walk through the room and discuss these questions. And then is there one pair that would like to join over here? That would be our live stream guinea pigs. We'll get these guinea pigs. These are the microphones. Clip them on, and then people on the live stream can actually hear your conversation, see your conversation. So there are people joining us throughout the world that would like to learn about this as well. Then they can learn from your conversations.
Important note, they cannot ask you anything. So the voice goes only in one direction. It's a live stream, so they can use the chat, ask questions, but they cannot talk to you. It's really just a microphone, but it's a little bit like an Easter hunt. So try to find all our post-its here, and then we give it a go.
You don't need to shout into these things. You can actually, we were testing this. This is actually the first time that I actually use these in such a setting. You can whisper in these and it's actually very audible. You can walk out and it's still audible.
Don't run away, but it works.
Pair up with someone you don't know. And please have one pair over here.
So, who comes to us? No one likes to come to us. Perfect.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
There you go.
That's yours.
Okay, thank
You can flip it or you can hold it. It's totally fine.
Probably I can tip it here, yeah?
Some stuff they can now see you because it's all there where we have to come.
Okay,
For
amazing.
this first assignment, for this first round, people won't be watching you, but for the next round.
Super. Sounds good. Okay. So what are we trying to solve?
I think that's one question.
The main idea is if you probably elaborate about it a little bit. I think so. Maybe post it on it as well. If you have your statement. And for your purposes, you have Sharpies. Just give it a go and use the rule we sneak into the middle.
Okay.
It will be fine to just put it somewhere on this one.
Perfect.
And as soon as you think, talk enough about this question, we have more questions.
Super. Okay. Let's have a few different colors. I'll bring all of them green. Okay.
2 is fine, right?
I think so.
You like a particular color? You have one chart?
I've got one. This is what we're trying to solve, yes?
I think it's done.
The
I'm
best
sure those guys
advice
know they are also
on the live stream. That's fine. We'll just ignore that for now. So which one are we solving?
the best advice you ever got. That's the question, I think.
So we are brainstorming the best advice that we've ever got. Don't sweat the small stuff. Don't sweat the small stuff. So we're just gonna jot them all down, all the great advice that we've ever received.
Yeah, well, the best. So I'm not sure if you are allowed to pick more than one.
I think we should. Why not? The more ideas, the better. Okay, so I'm gonna go. Don't sweat the small stuff. What have you heard before?
Best advice. Perhaps start reading.
Start reading. That's a really good advice. I wonder, are you guys working within a context? Are you guys working within a context? Right? Advice with regards to life in general, work, family, friends. Are we going to box it?
Do we have to?
I think we can do what we want. Do we want to?
Well, let's pick per category one.
Cool.
For work.
For work?
Is that one the one for work? Don't sweat the small stuff?
No, that would be
Life in
terrible
general.
for work. This is a bug that you need to fix immediately.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's
Take that one down.
it's fine.
Okay.
It's also for life in general.
This is true. This is true. I would definitely go with prioritize.
Because you don't get to do twice things puts in at the same time.
Correct.
Good thing.
As much as you can, I suppose. Prioritize. Okay, your turn.
Start thinking about the person next to you instead of your own.
Oh,
'Cause
that's a lovely one.
'cause
What does that mean?
Well, things get tough in life or whatever, and you just think about yourself, how miserable you are, and instead you focus on someone else who's having a hard time, or it's much easier for yourself to what do I call it? Nuance.
Yeah.
Bring nuance to it. And
I've heard something very
makes you feel
similar.
better.
Yes, I've heard something similar where it's, be of service to someone. If you are sort of circulating within yourself, be of service, and then there's a solution that will come through, or even just value, like what you're trying to solve or gain, you'll probably get through giving it to someone else. I love that one. I love it. Do you know what this makes me think of? Do what you love. Have you heard of the Ikigai?
The icky guy.
The Ikigai.
What is it? Is it is it the story? Or,
It is a Japanese framework of advice.
Ikigai.
Am I mispronouncing it?
No, I don't know how it's Japanese. Right? So I also don't know whether.
You mean you're not fluent in Japanese?
No. Are you?
No.
Okay, because otherwise you probably pronounce it right.
Right, okay, so then it's a framework of advice, right? It's not per se. I think it's like do what you love.
Maybe orange.
What do you love? What does the world need?
Right, but they're all something about.
I think it's like what can you be paid for?
Yes.
Do you remember the last one?
No, I don't. That's the one in the middle, right?
It's this one, yeah. Do what you love, do what the world needs, do what you can be paid for. And learn to remember the Ikigai.
Most important one, yeah.
Just a framework of advice, huh? Right. I love this one. I'm not going to forget that one for a long time.
It's also a cool one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes hard to differentiate,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Also, sometimes you really need to think over everything. because
Yeah.
if you just do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
For a human, yeah.
Doing this practice, you still can leave the magic
Oh, super.
area.
We thought we were
Yeah,
imprisoned
totally
in
fine.
this chamber of live stream. Okay.
You can just walk around.
We don't have walls yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can we step out
You
and,
can
and,
step
and
out and
continue doing fun things?
Ah,
Okay.
After this one, you'll be seated over here. We'll be more pragmatic, but for this one,
Super.
it's more about walking around.
Great.
wanna
Thank
go,
you. Should we go where there's
clockwise or just where's
where there are less
space?
people there?
Yeah, okay. Let's
Cool.
go over there. What is your current role?
Oh, okay. So I'm going to try the trick we've just been taught.
Huh. Haven't you done that any time?
The middle thing. Yeah.
Yeah, almost.
I've just been using Figma this whole time.
They already described that.
No, but you can still put yours in there.
Yeah, that's fine. But I like the picture. So. Okay.
What is that? This is a hand.
I think it's with people, and this is a head. I think it's
Oh,
multiple. It's a group.
okay.
You need some imagination for it. Yeah.
I see a hand. Do you see people? Is that it?
Yeah. What company are you for?
At the Fabricant. It's the first digital-only fashion house. So we're essentially a fashion NFT company. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
In Amsterdam? Or
Yeah, in Amsterdam. Yeah.
You're originally from?
South Africa.
Okay.
Yeah. And you?
I live in Holland, and I work at Van Lanschot Kempen.
And where?
Van Lanschot Kempen. It's a bank.
Oh, okay.
Not a very big bank, but I work at IT department, Scrum Master for some teams. Yeah.
Do you like the product?
Yeah?
Do you like the product?
Yeah, I do. I think we are a wealth manager, not a bank, so that's all we call.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the first time, I wouldn't say for the first time, but the Fabricant is probably like the best combination of my skills, my passions, and my like interests and competence.
Okay.
Yeah, because our end product is essentially it's a digital product. It's a website and a marketplace with NFTs, right? But then like our assets are literal fashion designs that are created for the metaverse. Essentially. Yeah, it's so cool. It's so cool. So there's a lot of like brainstorming and design sprint because we don't actually know. We're the first ones in the industry to do this. Literally, there's no one else who's done this before. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
that's
So
really
there's a new.
How did you find that company?
Literally.
How did they find you?
Yeah. I found them for sure. Exactly that. I tapped out exactly what I wanted in my next role and what I cared about. So I literally wrote fashion, blockchain, product management, literally. And they came up. I promise you.
Oh, how cool.
I promise you. And it's because I'd actually come to Amsterdam to start my own tech startup. That's solving the sizing issue in fashion e-commerce. So people don't know what size to buy.
Yeah.
So our solution is to combine shopper biometric data with garment data. And we use body scanning, 3D modeling technology. So you can literally just measure yourself in seconds.
But do you have to just go to a shop somewhere and scan once and then
you do it while you're shopping. You do it, you know where the size chart is?
Yeah. Okay.
There's just a little widget there.
Yeah.
You click on that and it activates your camera. It's very cool.
I'm very curious. Yeah.
It's very, very cool.
What was it called again?
It's called Stylexa. So we're still early stage. and we're going through. We're raising for our seed round.
Yeah.
Because it's a blockchain-based company, so
Yeah.
it's not cheap.
No, you need a lot of engineers.
There's
and,
no bootstrapping a blockchain
Yeah, I can
project.
imagine that.
No.
Yeah, there are a lot of
No.
companies fishing in the same pond for those things. And,
Yeah, the thing is, firstly, very expensive, but secondly, if they are available, then you do need to just be careful and make sure you don't have fly-by-night,
yeah.
you know.
So we have fintech. Now you're starting fashion tech.
No, I would say e-commerce. I think I've been in fashion e-commerce my whole career, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Which has been cool.
You want to go to the next
Yes,
question?
yes. That one was
But
nice and easy.
That's
eh?
also.
Yeah. Okay, cool. This is good.
Okay. What is agility for you? I think to that one, but yeah, agility is being prepared for and adapt fast.
Being present.
Tell me. Yeah, liberate,
It's kind of a life approach as well.
yeah.
To be agile, if you're present, then you can only respond to what's happening right now. Right? You're not focusing on anything else that's externally happening, and so you just have a blank canvas constantly to sort of make the right decision between like importance, urgency, and return on investment. Like nothing is linear when it comes to like planning. It's not like there's no ways. So
Interesting view. Yeah.
yeah, what's yours?
Yeah. Yeah. I know the change is the only constant thing these days, but agility. Yeah, being prepared. I think.
How?
Yeah, it's also your mindset, right?
Yeah, 100%. That's a really good one.
Agility. I read an article like 2 or 3 days ago. You know, you have a fixed mindset or you have a growth mindset.
Yes,
And,
yes.
someone added the third one. It was a ping pong mindset. I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is that?
The explanation was good. Like fixed mindset is you need to do it like this.
Yeah.
Growth mindset was. Yeah, we can still do it the other way around. And the ping pong mindset was take what you have, analyze it, and then change it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You can only make the decision on the information you have at that time.
Yeah.
Right?
That's present. And,
Yep.
Okay. Cool one.
I'm working with icons all day.
I like your mentality. That's a mentality. I really love that one.
I know what's working.
Interesting.
Okay. Next question.
I feel like we're A Sigmas.
Yeah.
We're doing really well. Overachieving.
Over.
Under promising and over delivering.
So you want to go there? Oh wow.
What's your, oh my gosh.
What's your favorite pizza and why?
That's like asking which one of my children is my favorite.
How many do you have?
0.
Oh. You don't like pizza then either. Yeah.
I'm just gonna go with the one that's, I'm not proud, but it is. I don't know how to
What
spell
is
it.
it?
How do I spell Hawaiian?
Hawaii with one foot.
How do you spell Hawaiian? I know,
It's
that's why.
H-A-W. AI, I guess.
No.
AI with 2 dots in there.
Are you sure?
Hawaii. I think so.
Are you sure? Hawaii, isn't it?
Let's see, it's already there. Oh, yeah. Oh, 2 eyes.
But that's what you said, no?
Oh, I said an eye, 1 eye with 2 dots on it.
Okay, close enough. A bright taste.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Okay.
But this is tricky, right? To mention that you like
It's a little bit embarrassing. Maybe I should go.
no, it's that's too funny.
No, I'm not gonna put that in there. I'm trying to be I'm trying to be pescatarian. So this is terrible.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's also with him.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. It's the truth, though.
The most important leadership
Characteristic.
The will to empower others, so you're no longer needed. The most important leadership questions. Clear values.
Yeah.
Being able to create clear values, or just
Clear,
to have
let's
your
say what is the
core
important?
values.
Clear. Should I say personal? Yeah, actually, just clear personal values. The reason why I say that is because we're all very different, right? Like literally every single person is different to the other. And so you can't really dictate what you should do, right? Like you can't be like, be patient, be kind, be understanding. Like we don't all have those abilities. So if you're just clear on your personal values, it's not even saying that you're claiming to act a certain way, but you're just creating a framework through which everyone should see what it is that you're saying. So do you know what I mean? Like it just gives it a lens.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Do you think there's a cleverer way to say this?
Well, your explanation, I think that's good. What you actually mean is that it's not the one and only truth, you mean, but it's a way you look at the world, and
yeah, it's a framework for people to understand you as the leader.
Okay, that way. So how what you're
So
trying
maybe
to
that's
achieve, what drives you, and
the most important leadership characteristic. Yeah. I'll say values and principles. Okay, what's yours? Oh, I actually think it's important to write personal. Yeah, I really do. Personal. Personal.
it's personal.
Okay.
Can read it, I'm sure. I think open to different perspectives and beliefs.
Yeah, nice.
I unfortunately need to steal the microphone. No.
You know what? Taking pizza away from me, taking my microphones away from
Sorry,
me.
guys.
Oh.
You get a new one, no worries. More fancy.
Didn't explain that part.
That worked well. Hey guys. So, don't want to interrupt your enthusiasm, but we will do the next part now. So, come a little bit closer to us.
And I should have
Finish your
explained the
set.
bell.
Yes, you should have, but well, It's an experiment.
Yes. So what we're going to do now is connect to one of the most, what I personally feel is one of the biggest leadership characteristics is empathy. And tonight we're going to be practicing empathy. So if I can get my live team over here, seated over here. No, you're not going to be demoing. It's just on showing the seats. What you're going to be doing in your pairs is we're going to go to liberating structure called heard, seen, respected. Setting your seats up like this, and you can get chairs over here and over there and over there. Get a couple of chairs in a minute. And what you're going to be doing is talk about a story when you didn't feel heard, seen, or respected as a leader or by a leader. And a leadership position could be anything, right? You could be a scrum master, product owner, a manager, CEO, whatever. As long as you're working, setting some directions, thinking about what Scrum is supposed to be doing, you're basically being a leader. So what I would like to think about, 7 minutes each, think of a story when you did not feel heard, seen, or respected in such a position. Any questions before moving on? No? All right, get a couple of chairs out. And I'm going to give you guys the mic back.
Okay. Do you have a particular story in mind?
Get this one first. Yours is quite easy to know. Just 1 second. Wardrobe malfunction.
That's a word.
I think so.
I pushed it off.
No, did I turn it off? Oh no. When
I
did I
don't
feel heard? Well, when I was trying to find out if my mic was right. Okay. So the brief is share a story when you felt not heard, seen, or respected as leadership or by leadership.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yes. Okay. Mine is almost a combination of both. I had co-founded a tech startup that was a for-profit social enterprise. So what that meant is we were running a business with business partners, but we were trying to solve a social issue it was creating jobs. So the work that we were creating for our business customers was done by people who were less advantaged and therefore benefiting from our business. And I was heading up operations. You might find that operations is the front line of where everything happens, yeah? Yeah. And being in the front line and sort of living out the business model of receiving information or receiving requests from our business customers and then having to translate that into work being done by our workforce, if you will.
Yeah.
I quickly learned that you have a fixed budget for an unfixed number of people who will be required to finish the work, right? And so what ended up happening is that one was burning a little bit faster than the other. I was adding more and more people onto a project with less and less money to pay them to do it, right? Because it was a fixed quote and budget that we'd agreed upon with our business customers. And so it really became, we've got to automate. We've got to find a way to make this a little bit more efficient and scalable, and whatever that might be, it needs to be figured out immediately. And suddenly, the line started getting blurred between heading up operations and heading up technology, being COO and CTO. I was kind of going, hey, CTO, I need you to build something, and he goes, tell me what to build. And I'm like, oh no, I'm fighting fires. I can't really do that. So at that time, I felt there was a disconnect between what the business was theoretically speaking and what the business was in practice, and how, despite the constant feedback, there was a latency in responding to the very real-time realities of how the business was operating. So I felt quite unheard in that process.
Okay, but yeah, you said there was a difference between what the vision was or what in theory
Yeah,
the company
yeah.
was, but and that's also what you believed in that theory, or was that what you said, like, hey, it's good to have a vision or something, but the theory should also be the
Yeah,
it is
yeah.
right now.
Look, reality is reality, right? We all have ideas of how we would like things to unfold, both professionally and personally. But there will always be uncertainties that roll in, and you've got to be able to minimize the chaos, right? Or manage the chaos.
Yeah.
And automation doesn't necessarily always mean better, actually, because you miss opportunities and you actually aren't able to react faster once automation has taken place. So there's a delicate time for that as well. Huh?
Yeah, and you really need to make sure that everything is 100% right before you automate it, because otherwise you keep making the same mistakes.
Exactly, and it goes back to that theme that we're talking about. What does it mean to be agile? You know, what does agility mean to you?
Yeah.
Yes, it is this constant flow of being able to anticipate and react when things happen, but they are still fixed times.
Yeah.
Right? It's even though it's flowing time, but there's a beginning and end to something, right? It's a circumstance, something is presented, you have to fix it. Present, make a decision, move on. And those little time boxes, I think, is where we were too slow.
But what was your suggestion was to automate more things, and therefore you needed more budget or more time, or
Yeah, I think it was almost like a 360-degree consideration of where we might be a little bit more automated. So it's like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg, right?
Yeah.
So do we automate the onboarding process, right, of figuring out what the customer's problem is, right, and what they're trying to solve, as opposed to having to work on the project once everything has been signed? And, you know, is there a process that we ensure that we're setting ourselves up for success every time, and there's almost like just a cookie cutter, so we're always on offense, right, as opposed to defense? Or is it in such a case that when the work has already started, we already have our developers ready to sort of adapt to each project? So it's almost like a sprint per project, right? So we're all flexing different muscles for each business requirement. Or, you know, there were so many different ways of doing this, and that's the piece where I was feeling sort of unheard, because I was kind of like going, there's a problem that I'm seeing.
yeah.
I can manage it for now, but I'm gonna need you to just find a solution. You know, like, we'll work on it together, but we've got to split the responsibility.
And it just kept going the way it was. And
Yeah. And then I think it then falls into earlier on, I was chatting with someone. It's like, what's the difference between a product manager and a product owner, and this and that, you know? And we get so stuck sometimes, and no, that's your role, no, this is my role, no, I don't do that, or this is your, you know,
instead of
just let's just do it, you know. Yeah. And so that's why it's, I don't know, I think we're going way beyond 7 minutes now. Sorry. So let's actually switch it around now for you. So you tell me when you.
I think when I just started as a Scrum Master, I worked in IT, but not as a Scrum Master. And we went from an old waterfall organization to agile projects, and I just started as a Scrum Master. So, of course, I started learning a lot also about not only Scrum, but also behavior and how you can empower people, of course. And I remember that my boss at that time, he just kept making decisions without involving the people who were actually involved in this decision. And for me, I saw that people were like, hey, what the hell, why does he make this decision? I know it, I have experience with it, and why do you keep doing this? So I went to his office just to give him feedback about it. So let's see, this is what I see happen. And I really strongly believe that if you really want to succeed with this change, you need to involve people and empower people to make those decisions. And he wasn't prepared. He wasn't ready.
What was his response? What did he say?
Yeah,
No.
that he had no, just no.
Damn it! I want to hear more of that.
I think this was the 7 minutes.
Was that the 7 minutes? I
That's what
took
he-
about 5.5. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
Oh no!
No, but that's fine. It's 7 minutes each. Yeah? So,
Oh, good. Okay, so you can carry on after this,
I think
yes?
so, yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
the rest is okay.
Okay, this is good.
Yeah, and he was like, yeah, well, I'm a director for many years and I know what to do, but that's also actually one of the reasons why I left that company a year later, because I really believe in working agile and the people with the knowledge, that's where the decision should be made. Of course, you can guide them, you can empower them, you
Yeah.
can still be responsible in the end,
Yeah.
but just do it by empowering people and not by making the decision solely on your own. And I just couldn't live with that anymore, because that's what I strongly believe.
Yeah.
And he didn't, obviously.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
then you're stuck somewhere.
So was it almost like you were representing a whole lot of other people who felt unheard and unseen and not considered?
Yeah, I think because I was actually one of the team members and I became a scrum master, so
Yeah.
still part of the teams and I had multiple teams. So I saw what was going on in my teams every day. So I also felt the need to speak for them when they weren't able to do it themselves, or you know how it goes. People in the team, they are very happy to talk about about the process, leadership, you know, within the company. But it also takes a lot of courage to actually step into that office and give that feedback. I really felt the urge to do so.
Was it a meeting outside of the structure of Scrum and Agile? Because you know you do have an opportunity to retro and give feedback and blah blah blah. But did you feel it needed to go above and beyond the
in the retrospective, we were talking about those things also with the team, of course. But I felt like this is not a conversation just for us. It's nothing we can change on ourselves. Except for some small things, like you can be a rebel sometimes, and why are we asking for permission? Just do it and let's see what happens. And but that's just a small thing. But if you want to really change in a sustainable way, I really felt like then you need to do it the other way and not just sit in it's Dutch sit in your ivory tower. I'm not sure if it's also really English, and just making decision based on numbers you see, or someone who's in your neck saying like, hey, you should do it like that, or
exactly.
you just read an article or a book from a company and think, wow, this seems nice, I'm going to do this, or
so how do you approach someone like that? Do you present your case and then have a solution already ready, or do you present the case and try to negotiate a way forward? Obviously it wasn't a positive outcome, but what was your approach?
What I actually started is, what do you expect from my role? Because if you always said like, I expect you just facilitate session and that's it, then of course there will be another discussion. But you really expected me to be on the forefront of the change. Like, we want to work agile, and then we had the discussion. Okay, but what's agile for you, and where do you want to be in 4 years, and do you really think that this suits within a strategy, or do you even have a plan with this, or you take decision and see what happens? And that was just my strategy. What do you expect from me? If you really expect from me that we are on the forefront of this change, then I think you need the feedback on it for me, because otherwise, what are we doing then? I'm not following what he is doing, or the decisions he's doing. I think it's important to give feedback.
So what happened after that? Walked out the office, and what was the...
Well, for a time, I just was a little disappointed, but I kept going on. There was a lot of things I could still do with the teams, of course, and but I was noticing that I was losing a lot of energy on work, and I was like, well, I just can't do this any longer. I need to find just something else to have that energy there. So I accepted it for like 9 months, but then I just couldn't do it anymore. And during our exit interview, I came back to our earlier conversation. Like we discussed this, and for me, it just ends here. I don't think I can be of any value if just working the way I don't believe in.
And speaking about looking back, I always find it so interesting when someone sort of references what they've done before to validate, why they're competent or why they're doing things the way that they're doing it today, which sounds reasonable. You sort of substantiate yourself, but a lot of the time that actually becomes a bit of a disadvantage because you just put blind spot after blind spot after blind spot, as opposed to sort of pulling the wool out of your eyes and seeing how you can sort of sharpen your sword a little bit, right? As opposed to showing your badges and going, but I've done this.
And I'm very confident I can do it again.
Exactly.
No, but that's actually exactly what it is about. New leadership, I think. It's fine, you have experience, just take it with you and learn from it, because even if it was a successful project, there were also multiple things that could have gone better. So focus on those things and not only on, I was a success, so it was my project. No, you didn't do it on your own. It was all the people around you.
I think that's probably my favorite part about being a product manager, or at least being in product, is that it's actually an art, and you basically massaging your way into figuring out the right way to do things. And there are such soft nuances that you have to tread very lightly to make a really big impact. And it's that light treading is the interactions that you have with people. And when you're having a one-on-one, even though it's 5 minutes, you need to make sure that someone felt heard and understood, right? Even if you don't agree or you do agree or whatever, you're going to need that person tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. And if you put a brick over brick over brick, right, to build a wall, then you've lost the battle. So it's those soft nuances, literally interpersonal relationships. That is what.
The product.
You get the product, You're the cement, you're the glue that makes it come together.
Nice. That is very nice.
The next 5 minutes before Paragon says a different group, take 5 minutes to discuss what it was like to be talking, to be sharing your story, and what it was like to be listening on the listening side. How was it to be really open about these stories? 5 minutes.
Wow.
Very hard.
No, this is cool. I think a lot of people. Do people know what product people do? Like, does the rest of the company really understand what the job descriptions or the role of the product people is? Do you think?
No, there's a lot of different views.
Literally.
No, but we talked about the boundaries between roles, and in the end, we have the same goal. I hope so. At least, but it's still good to have descriptions about what people actually do. Because it's just easier to understand each other as well.
We are in such an interesting space right now because we are in the NFT crypto space, blockchain, Web3, etc. And things in that industry are literally changing by the day, literally. And every single person in the industry is just learning and teaching themselves. You literally study the industry on a daily basis and also contribute to the development of the industry. And so it's not about like what your competencies or what you did in the past. It's literally about, okay, who learned what the fastest, who knows what they know today, so that they can plug into whatever the next need is. For example, because we're selling NFTs, you know, there's price fluctuations in the value of our NFTs, right?
Yeah.
And that is influenced by so many things, right? Like fluctuation of the entire OpenSea breaks down, or whatever the case may be, or Bitcoin has a really bad round, and then everyone's like terrified of NFTs, and that's got nothing to do with product per se, but that directly influences what sort of key features or what you prioritize for that week. And so those role definitions really do disappear, and it's really then based on who knows what, when, how.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but do you? I read a book 2 months ago, I think, and they said the roles still exist, but it's not that one person is a role. No, the roles are all there, and who fills in that role is changing all the time.
Exactly.
As long as someone is filling in that role.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have, you're not the person with the big boss or something. No, you're just someone with a kind of role.
It's more like there are functionalities that are required, and someone needs to fill them in, right? So like a functionality is decision making, right? Like someone needs to put a stick in the ground, and obviously you want the person who makes the decision to be the most informed or whatever. And then there's sort of like collecting the information as quickly as possible. Okay, well, who's going to take 2 weeks to collect the information, and who's going to take 2 hours because they're already on to, you know what I mean? That's function, and who's the best person to fit that. And that's how I think the agile methodology and Scrum is sort of evolving a little bit. It's
but that's also a very important direction, to know your place, because people also hold on to their knowledge, and I think, no, this is my thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But for now, you're just not the right person for this, and you need to accept it, and you need to be able to focus on something else that you're also very good in, and that is necessary at that time.
Exactly. I love it. I love product so much. I really do.
Do you also think it's still possible to keep up to date about all changes, and on the other hand also empower the people around you to have people talk?
I try to have a framework for everything. And for me, for that question, it would be the urgency versus importance and the return on investment. And return on investment looks like different things, right? A return on investment could be, oh, well, our lead developer has no idea how they're going to solve this, but if they learn, it's going to be a massive learning curve and a big covering an academic, you know, like that's it's something we can learn from, right? Versus obviously like a bug. If people can't trade, then that's something that we need to fix immediately. So urgency, importance, return on investment, and again, I don't think that's it's a graph and everyone gets to pin their points, and then you just draw it, and that's where the line is, right? As much as you can, and even if that's
it would be very simple if you can just plot it. And,
where does everyone just put it
okay, this time
what is the key?
work on that.
Look, there's no science to it, but that's why what was that question where we said be present? That's why my answer for what does agility mean to you, it really does mean just being present to me. It really does, because you can only go with the information that you know at the time, genuinely, right? And that's why then interpersonal is also very important. And then you at that point where we say what's the main characteristic of leadership, if you know everyone and like what their strengths and weaknesses are, you're not put off by the fact that someone's stressed out, but you just acknowledge that that's what's happening, but take out what's most important from them. So much to talk about.
Now for the next step, pair up with another group. So you guys were very eager to actually join.
Try to find more friends.
Discuss patterns that you know. So share your story really quick. You have 5 minutes with 4 people, so you have to speed up your talking. Discuss whether you see any patterns arising in these different stories.
Who dares to come into this space? Yes, it's two of you. Yeah.
No worries. Let's make a circle out of it.
Cool.
So what do you think? Did you have patterns about your stories?
Yeah, I think it's just a different mindset and stick to your own feeling or not being able to understand that someone has a different opinion or a different view on it, and not seeking for, oh, let's see how that can work for me, or let's pick one thing out of it and just try it and do it. And yeah.
Yeah, I think we recognize that feeling not heard or seen or respected is as a result of your expectation not being met or being disappointed in the way that someone has responded to you. And a lot of the time that's influenced by how everyone else has adopted the concept, let's work within the Scrum framework or the Scrum approach. And so a sort of silent killer in that regard is, you know, people sort of being holding too close to their past experience and going, I'm doing it this way, and I'm making a decision. I hear what you're saying and I see what you're saying, but actually we're going this way because I'm entitled and because I have experience in this, which sometimes can lead people astray and sort of disregard other thoughts and ideas. And so a new, or one of the most important sort of, if you want to adapt, let's call it that, then it's sort of shedding past experience and integrating and looking forward into how different people who come in and express themselves and whatever can then start building a new understanding of making decisions and, you know, understanding people's viewpoints. So yeah, I think that's sort of what we took from our discussion.
Do you see any different perspectives on what you define as help? Usually, personal perspective comes from either fear or not really understanding what is being helpful. That really means. For instance, if I do teach a course and I put someone in chair position against the wall and ask someone, please help this person up, people will immediately go to that person and start pulling their arm. Working with assumptions that they are comfortable with being touched, they want to be helped, they want to get up. This is the exact way. So there are a lot of unverified assumptions. Is that something that comes forward in your story?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
What I also sometimes see is the flip side of it is that, okay, my feelings are not heard or my perspective is not understood, is that the person who asked for something was not heard, not respected, didn't use the moment of time to say, okay, what is his goal or what is his situation? Because maybe the person you didn't respect you or didn't hurt you has someone else, someone on the higher chain of command or wherever, who's pushing this person into doing it. So that's what is the personal goal. Also this turning around. As you said, did you ask how he wants to stand up? Did you ask what is fine for this person? No, but my goal is fine. I'm not hurt. You went. Did you listen the other way around? No, and then this wall goes out. Blocks.
Yeah, we sort of figured out, I'm going to say mouthful, but I promise it makes sense. We established like varying degrees of eligibility to make a decision.
Yeah.
Did you get that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay. Varying. I don't know if I got it. Varying degrees of eligibility to make a decision, and what we meant by that is there are different functionalities when it comes to just getting stuff done.
Yeah.
Okay. And sometimes others are more competent in certain functionalities for specific problem cases.
Yes.
And so being able to identify which attribute characteristic eligibility is most appropriate to plug into a need is probably your best bet at making sure that you're making the right decision informed by the right person, and it makes sense to everyone.
That's a really good point. What I also sometimes see is that if you have this situation, everyone helps everyone, which is a great cultural thing, a great mindset. But sometimes it also ends up in the situation that people try to do something for another person, like helping the person up, which is not their role, which they are not perfectly matching to do so, and then it gets mixed. And this mix creates frustration because, yeah, I wanted to help my product owner, but the product owner already had a way of doing it, just in a different way, and said, okay, but now my plan is disrupted, or my way of doing it is disrupted, which then creates frustration for the group, for this pair, which is a really delicate balance between a lot of different practices.
And also the short term, when you say we would really like to get things done, it's usually on very short term. But sometimes on the long term, it's just not the right thing to do at that time. So
I love that sound. It's so zen.
It's relaxing.
Yeah.
We should switch titles from facility.
Next time we just sit down and the rest can interrupt.
How was this? What made it wonderful? Awesome.
I like that we found something bigger than were in our stories. Some next level. We find that maybe when we were in this situation where we not felt heard, seen, or respected, our empathy will grow.
Cool. Did you expect that? Because we just started with tell another one a story, and we worked our way a little bit to where you are right now. Did you expect that, or was it? Why should I say tell the story?
Not really following.
So was it unexpected, or was it? Oh no, I know what's coming.
You mean the result? Was the result of the story?
Yeah, what's the result?
It was kind of unexpected. Yeah. I found it highly unusual to talk about this, but when you realize what the impact actually is, when we talk about it, we had in the group as well. But you're from the same company, but they talked about it and came to this conclusion like, whoa, we should be talking about this more.
How is it also to be this open to people you don't know?
It's easier.
It's easy, scary, challenging. How was doing that live?
Great. We'll be here all night.
You're more on camera.
Maybe it's one of those as well as like the story when you haven't been felt to be heard, seen, or respected, that you've maybe carried that around inside of yourself as well. And so it's good to sort of get that out. And I think you asked me as well, like, oh, you know, and did you? I thought, yeah, that was the first thing that I went to that I thought about was inside of a program that I'd worked on.
What does it do with
Not a program I was in.
What does it do with your motivation when you have to keep those things all contained?
I don't keep them contained. I tell them, I push back on it and say, no, this is not acceptable, and it's not working. And you know, you've been told before, or whatever the parameters those things are, just to communicate that and to say that and to, I guess, to have that, you know, to sometimes not be a wallflower and to, I don't think I'm a wallflower. Yeah, but to, you know, at a certain point, there's probably a pushback where you say, look, this is not the way it goes, or it's not happening this way. And then, you know, it goes up a level, and then it goes up a level, goes up a level, it's sort of in tranches, I guess. Yeah.
We also found that when we're trying to describe, you know, not feeling heard or seen or respected, we started referencing a lot of the questions that we answered along the walls. And we found that those are the variables that really influenced, or the nuances behind the degree of being heard, unheard, So for example, that section over there, I think, asks about what does leadership mean to you, etc. And when you look at those different concepts, what leadership means, it was sort of the different ways that the leadership didn't respond in a way that we wanted. And again, like, what does agility mean, right? And then that person or that leader didn't really display what agility meant. So those core definitions and values sort of influenced how that turned out and manifested in real life.
How often do you have these kind of discussions in your actual practice situation?
Look, I think we try to stick to a framework as much as possible, largely because subjectivity can sometimes be the killer of moving forward in so many ways. We try to stick to it as much as possible. Therefore, we stick to sort of the ceremonies that are created for such, like retrospectives, etc. But we also mentioned that being in product is such an artwork. It's an interpersonality artwork that you need to be able to feel out when you need to step out of that framework and just be authentic, I think it said somewhere there, and just have a conversation with someone to just be like, hey man, heads up, this isn't working, or hey man, you know, and that hey man is a little bit better than like, kang, 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 we need to talk. Yeah. Yeah.
There's difference between providing feedback and just
A chat.
out,
Yeah.
suck.
Yeah, or just heads up, man, please, and thank you.
Yeah, exactly. The only acceptable answer to feedback.
Yeah.
I was recording a podcast earlier today with Henry Lieber, the guy behind the Spotify model. And he's now working at Mojang, the studio who creates Minecraft. You know? They're releasing every week and instantly receiving that feedback. They need to have these kind of conversations continuously. Because you can imagine Minecraft is insanely popular. If these conversations would never been held, the creativity in people would never come out. So you really need these things to flourish, create boundaries to get the creativity flow, get innovation flow. Any questions or burning things that you want to mention before moving on?
Maybe just one thing. You can also use this easily to a group which knows each other. Because if you use it, you will recognize, and I had a team a while ago which did this. Yeah, we know each other for years. Then we started. The first question was, yeah, that's the way I know. The second part was already, oh, okay, no, I never saw it from this perspective. And then you get into, so it can really help to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, just one thing, because we are here with a couple of Scrum Masters, and I think this is a really good liberating structure to use in your retrospective. But I'm just wondering, what would be then a good question to ask? Because now we're asking when you not felt when not felt heard or seen or whatever. But what would be a good main question to ask?
We're consultants, so our go-to answer is it depends. It really does depend on the situation. Yeah. I mean, if this is something that you already discussed quite often, this is not going to be very useful. You can ask the same kind of questions. What do we define as self-management? What do we define as value? Or any other of those aspects. This is relatively a vague term, but you can ask these. You can use these structures to make that more tangible.
Yeah, that's really nice. I definitely go to use it.
You also can use it either in your Scrum Master group and then find a related topic, which is who you feel respected, heard, or seen in your Scrum Master role. Can be a question. Yeah. Or also that, do you think that we see here respect our product owners? And the list is long. You can really kind of steer the question direction you want. The most important thing is that keep it simple, because if you have a question like this, then the people do not understand, they get confused. So really try to condense it to a simple question and then start with that.
I think it would be interesting to involve managers and other leaders in these kind of conversations as well. Usually there's quite a big of a bridge and a gap between people doing the work and people in leadership positions. So having these conversations together instead of just with either Scrum Masters or with just a team could be immensely powerful.
Yeah, it's a culture thing. When you see the post-its on the wall, you see that it's a culture thing, that when you talk about leadership and leadership characteristics, are you a leader, then you always get a sort of idea about how it was, total hierarchy, and well, the managers you don't want to have, and you have to take a distance from that old view to reach it open.
And that might be a good question as well. What is the desired culture that we want to have as an organization? And that's a good segue to the next one. We're going to go to the liberating structure called Conversation Cafe. First big challenge to you guys: form teams of between 5 and 7 people. No, we'll move on. Small.
And we have you too.
Please. It feels so good to be chosen. Oh, wait. Finally.
It was the last round, so.
We need one more.
Oh, we still see.
Someone from the LGBTQ community. Anyone?
Guess it's just us, baby.
3, 5, or 7, right?
Need to diversify ourselves.
We do. I mean, like, hello.
Understaffed or
We need-
women.
We need an under 18
Children.
or teenager. No, just kidding.
So we see we are really good at self-organizing. We bet something.
Look, no, we're just happy to be chosen. Really, we're not very picky about who's in our group at this point.
Australian accent?
No, it's South African.
South Africa.
Yes.
You're Macy.
No, so maybe. Who knows? Who knows? Boermeisie means that you speak Afrikaans. Yeah. I don't. I studied Afrikaans. But I don't speak it.
But even at Stellenbosch, you cannot have lectures in Afrikaans anymore.
Oh, you do. It was just reduced.
Is that since Van Riebeek? Discovered South Africa. It has been Afrikaans. I know. Now the Afrikaners are marginalized in their own country. Can you imagine?
Yeah, anyway, I don't think this is the platform for that, but yeah.
But it's true, my words are bad for Australia.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
Just like Elon Musk.
Yeah, I know. Wow.
The next result benefit. Did we do well? Yes. Now, what I would like you to think about, first we're gonna, I need every group to have facilitator. That's one. Second is get a talking object. So the person holding the object is the only one who's allowed to speak.
Who's got the con?
Will be 4 rounds. Every person gets 1 minute to speak. To share his thoughts on how are we going to ensure that our leadership style evolves. And that could be within our organization or within ourselves. 1 minute each. You guys time box it. Facilitator in your group time boxes this. And use the talking stick. No one else talks except when the person holding the talking object.
What is the object?
You have to choose, right?
I'll put this down. Yes, can I be the timeout? Because I talk way too much all the time.
Sorry.
I'm not going to be talking. I'll be the facilitator because you've seen I talk all the time. The con.
Right in the nuts.
Not bad aiming.
Are you the facilitator?
I'm the facilitator. I talk way too
Are you
much.
counting or do you?
I'll count with my fingers.
That is him.
No, it's not my job to have the conch.
You can't talk, he's got the bloody circle.
Yeah, so I'll count. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. No.
What we do to involve leadership, make
Yep.
sure we involve leadership. Well, I think to have conversations about it, and not just the way that I say, like, I believe in this, and if you do it like this, I think we will become better at this. But really having conversations, so be open, share experiences. Yeah, pick the things that everyone likes within the group.
That's 30 seconds.
30 seconds, okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, I think that's it. Give it over to you.
I think an important part is to create an environment that everyone in your team or organization is able to speak up and give their thoughts about ideas. As a leader, you have to make sure that that's the right environment that everyone can speak up. Also know as a leader, you don't know shit. And you have a team that combines all the knowledge of the team is probably making something great. But yeah, we don't know the end state. So let's find out together. Don't speak up and say, that's the end state. We're gonna go that direction. Decided with the whole team.
I was thinking about how to improve leadership within myself as a person, and I was thinking I found it pretty hard, and I'm going to do a team coaching education starting next week, so that will be interesting for me, like how to shape my conversations with coworkers. I think that will help, and also just try. Like in the last conversation, I had a situation where I was like just totally stuck, and I'm like frozen in the moment. Like I don't know how to act, I don't know how to continue. But if you're frozen, you can't do anything, and then you will end up losing whatever you want to achieve. So I was like, okay, I just have to try a action, and I can't control the outcome. I don't know if it will work, but I'm just gonna fucking try and see if it's gonna be good. So that's my try it.
So same with me, I was also thinking how I can improve on a leadership part, and I just heard from our previous session that start listening, start hearing, stop listening, something like that. You should be think from other people's perspective. If you are to get something, think about yourself first. If you say something, how you should be able to feel. If someone is coming towards you for some any kind of help or anything, right? So think for a moment that why he is choosing me, right? Maybe he can go to this person, that person, but he's coming towards me, right? So why he's coming towards me? So listen them properly. It's very important. Sometimes we don't even listen. We just got for a moment, but our mind is somewhere else, right? So we start developing that kind of skills, empathy, which we all say, right? It's difficult to master that skill. Empathy. We say that, okay, I'm empathizing with you. I know it's a bad time, but actually, really, we meant it or not? That's the something. If you meant it, even if you don't have to say it, you can just feel it. When someone is maybe a small gesture or something, you know that okay, someone is just tapping up on my shoulder. It means that guy is with me, right? Rather than I'm going to pass on 10 different sentences or some good words, fancy words, it doesn't make a wonder. But maybe a small gentle tap can do the wonder, right? So that kind of skills a person should have, right? The message should be passed automatically. Sometimes when you see the big leaders, right, they cannot touch the masses. The way they communicate, their thought process, that will touch the masses, right? It can be anything. We say Obama, or it can be in our country, let's say Modi. It can be any leaders, right? They are very clear what they want to convey, and I think that's make the difference.
Nice.
Am I supposed to speak about leadership here?
Yeah.
But I always wonder why there's so many courses and books about leadership, whereas there is actually very few leaders. We need far more followers than leaders, unless we're all leaders. We all have similar say. For example, if we all hold this ring together, we probably just can talk whenever we want and overrule me, and you don't have to just listen to my crap. So these perhaps are some lessons learned. I've also understood that it's better to be listening rather than to speaking. So I'm still within my time limit. I should give this to the next person.
I think a product is as a result of specific decisions being made and action being taken on those specific decisions. And those specific decisions should, as everyone has said, should be informed by everybody, consolidated, and then made into a decision that makes the most sense. And so I like to approach things on creating the right platform for the right people at the right time. And I think if you really want to have a democratic understanding and view of things, that's way earlier, probably at the top of the funnel when it comes to decision making on the one-on-one platforms, because not everybody knows how to express themselves in the same way. And so creating an individual environment to really hear someone, actually, not to make them feel like they're heard, but to actually hear them because they have an individual platform, not only helps you build the trust between that person, but it helps you to collect individual information. And then as a leader, consolidate it in such a way that it's informed, but it's still a decision. It's never going to reflect everybody else's views. Otherwise, you're never going to have you'll have a chaotic product process at least. So just seeing it as a funnel and creating the right platforms for the appropriate levels of people, and then finding a way to then just communicate it in a way that is respectful to everybody else's views, but actually produces a product.
Nice.
Share your thoughts after hearing the others.
Again with the ring thing?
Yeah. Again with the ring thing.
Yeah.
Spice it up.
Finally.
Well, first of all, I think you really have the wording and the diction of a true diplomat. And
I'm an ENFP for everyone who's interested. What is it? Extrovert, intuition, feel, and ENF, perceptive. I'm always holding the ring, whether you see it or not. What am I answering? Sorry.
No, sorry, I was trying to listen to you, but you weren't.
Oh, sorry. What?
You weren't holding the things. I couldn't.
No, you.
Okay, next one. Sure, on.
So I like the idea which shared by Rita, that we sometimes, if everyone is leader, things may be difficult also, because take one lead and then just follow them. Sometimes it's easy to follow. Obviously, like our mind are wired like that. That if we know that this is the right path, we just take it. Why? So it's always good if you find some good leaders and then stick to them and then just follow the path, whatever they show towards it. I think that's again a good thing, which probably people miss. As you mentioned, right? There are a lot of books on leaders, but then we have only a handful of leaders, right? So why there is a gap? Because everyone cannot be a leader, right? Yeah. I think that's a good point out of this conversation, which I found it interesting and different. Yes. So that's my
I'm curious to your thoughts.
Well, first of all, I like your view. Like, you just need to try and make decisions and see what happens, learn from it, and because it will definitely help you to become better. The other thing I like is about really listening to people and not just hearing what they say, but really listen, understand, and not just give the answer because you think you know, and just give your thoughts and you think you really helped that person. And about leadership, I think not everyone can be a leader, but I definitely think that the best leaders are also good followers sometimes, because they became leaders, great leaders, by following other people, hear them, form their own opinion, and then become a better leader from it. Yeah, and I think that that's a very valuable skill as a leader, to also know when do you need to listen and when do you need to follow people and trust them that they will make a good decision and empower them instead of just judging them afterwards and say like, hey, this was total rubbish. Let's do it the way I think is best. Yeah, so that's my thoughts.
Nice.
These two things. Thanks. What I like also is the different views of everyone. We all have the same topic, but we have all different story. We all have different things that we think it's important. It's nice to see. You have your own thought about leadership. That's it. But then you hear other stories. Yeah, that's a different angle. So yeah, that was my main thought.
So we are now in the second round already.
Yes.
Go fast.
Let's give the ring to someone from a country with real fuel skills. I was a little bit scared. So
Don't give him the ring of fire. Yeah, so for me, what are my thoughts by listening to the group? I think what the most times the approach is transparency and listening to each other, plus also the fact that ownership is really important. So someone needs to take
100%.
ownership of certain situations while sharing with the others the fact that please trust me. Quite often someone thinks, okay, that's my to do, I will do that, but is not transparent about it, or some other people think, yeah, if it's not working, I don't trust that I will get this information. So taking care of another shop and then get overloaded because you're taking care of someone else. And he said, well, if he likes to have it, why should I? And in addition, also, I want to be a leader, but I don't trust you. So ownership, trust, and transparency is the things I hear most in the other groups, and also when I'm doing coaching. So quite often, if I talk to a CTO or a CEO, but then I need to trust them. Why not? Well, I'm accountable at the end, yeah, but if they have the knowledge, why not trust them that they will make a better decision than you? Yeah, you might be right. And then quite often, okay, how often have you made a decision which is not in line with what you heard from your team? Yeah, never. I trust my team. See, so why wait for your team to make a fancy slide and say this is what you need to say to us that it's working? And this is quite often what's happening. But the other way around is also that people are trained, grown up to follow a leader who says something. So they don't even want to think. I sometimes have developed teams or teams in organizations which are rather new to agility. They say, why should I start thinking? Someone says to me, I need to do this, I'm happy. Because I don't want to take the risk, because I never did in the past. This pattern you need to break or disrupt a little bit before we even come to the next level. That was more than a minute, but that's my stake.
We trust you. Yeah.
To all this.
I'm getting a beer.
I once did translations for a German company. My editor-in-chief was a 26-year-old, and I was about my age. And so I translated the German text, and then when she was on the phone, I'd say, but it doesn't start where the German text starts. And I said, no, it was actually quite badly written, so I changed the order a bit so that there's better flow in it. And then she said, no, but the German language is leading, and I'm the boss. And that's how I encountered the first cultural differences with people from other countries.
I'm really glad to have heard the difference between or the coexistence of leadership and ownership. I think ownership, everybody has a responsibility of taking ownership. And I think as a leader, it's important to be able to see the varying degrees of ownership that exist and to understand that sometimes ownership can be like super low, actually, just because for various reasons, right? Lack of interest, need to upskill for whatever. But then there's massive ownership. But understanding those different degrees of ownership then helps you understand when someone wants to be heard versus when someone wants to actually contribute. Sometimes someone just wants to say something, but sometimes someone wants to contribute and move forward and actually own something. So those are the varying degrees, I would say, just to be aware of.
All right. We're slowly nearing the end. Now we've identified some things that we can do to improve our own leadership in our organization. I tried.
She's still has 20 seconds.
Okay. Eyes on you. So now we just to repeat. We've discussed what we can do to improve our leadership within ourselves, within our organization. Let's do it the other way as well. What can we do to get the most unwanted result? So keep this question in mind of what kind of leadership do we want? What can we do to ensure that things go south really fast? Stand up, think about it for a minute for yourself, then pair up when the bell rings. Pair up, and then with the group. Just list some things on the walls, on the slips, on the windows, wherever you want.
Oh, with posters.
How's this? You can try posters on there, but that won't stick. That's actually problem. So think about the most unwanted result and how we can get there as fast as possible.
So how to do something badly really well.
Yes, exactly. So we want to have our really cool leadership. What can we do to use that?
Anarchy.
I shall abdicate. I think that's fast to figure out.
I don't even know how to wrap my head around that.
I will no longer rule this realm.
So first, individually.
I give it to you.
First, individually.
Few dictators actually do that.
Individually and then in pairs.
First individually.
This is beer.
What are we doing? What?
Just think about it in 4 minutes for your show, about what we can do to make it go south and very fast. And then we will pair up and
So we do it by ourselves.
yeah, just the first minute.
Pardon?
Just first minute, just write for your own, and then we will pair up.
How to make things go bad really quickly.
That's also your option to get a beer and drink the coke.
Okay, thanks.
Oh yeah, this is on camera.
Cheers.
You officially have a sex tape. What were you like now? A low fidelity sex tape.
So if you have your thought on the post-it already, find a buddy to talk about it. Then put it on airball.
Okay, I need to find a buddy. My brain. Okay. I need a buddy.
Yeah.
Listen to all the wrongs.
I really wanted to go with you, but I was afraid this is live.
This is chamber of live.
Yes.
Cool. I think
I have a very simple answer.
Yeah.
Give up.
Mm.
If you give up,
And involving
the most unwanted result.
Yeah. The end.
The end. Yes, the end. And what about
Wow, that really sums things up. Can you expand on this?
Is it the fastest way, you think?
if you
What we can
want
do
to
to
get
what
some
can we do
result,
to
you
make
have
it
to do
even
something.
faster?
So if you do nothing, or even if you refuse any support, and if you give up, it's simple. I don't know how I can explain it more. If you give up, if you stay on this place,
So
you
yeah,
will
the
never
most
reach
unwanted
your goal.
What do you think is the sign to show that you're about to give up?
There's a sign.
Funding them to grow their skills.
What is a sign that showed me that I give up?
Before you get to this point, right? Yeah, yeah.
So stop
Maybe some
investing in
emotion
people.
In such a
and
matter,
some
irresponsible.
power
If you're so
will
irresponsible, people will stop following
down.
That's
Yeah,
so.
and maybe some negative thoughts.
then your traits of leadership will be gone.
Yeah.
When I stop to believe in my dream, in my goal,
Cool. Yeah.
in this result,
Yeah.
if I
Whatever the traits you are
not
just
actually not,
opposite of that.
I cannot believe, but I just go and
Yeah, exactly.
you know,
Yeah.
this is
Oh, that's
that
cool one.
your
If you do the
eyes
opposite,
is
yeah.
afraid, but your hands are doing. Yeah, I think the emotions.
Yeah. When
Stop
the
trusting.
energy drops
Don't decide.
and there's a despondency and you can see people sort of unplug a little bit. And then that's when you know
I think
we are here.
yourself, so,
And how do you turn that around
try to be someone
before
you're
you
not,
get to this?
or please others instead of.
it's great
Stop
wish.
with the right thing. Because being a leader is a difficult. We
Yeah.
cannot, we can be
Maybe to remember why this result is important for me.
different perspective.
Nice.
Because of
Love
the learning
it.
process, this result is
Yeah,
important.
exactly.
In
Yeah.
the skill
I
set and
find
everything.
any resources
And keep it as it
any
is.
support, any people
Yeah.
to make some traction,
Yeah.
to make some small steps,
Oh,
maybe
what is
Yeah.
to learn towards the goal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think it's important.
Why
If
did-
it's most important, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's the why did we begin?
Yeah.
You know,
Never,
why had we
stop,
even started doing
why?
this?
Why?
You know, yeah.
Yeah.
And
so
does
it's
that-
one thing except-
Yeah, and does that
why?
question still stand? If it does, and there's no
Wanna
space
go
to
for a
give up,
drink, or
we've
do
still
you
got work to do.
I will grab the code.
Yeah. Have you experienced a team giving up before?
I think so, yeah, many times.
Oh, really? What do you need to do?
And
So going by train? Or?
every time when I lose the importance of this.
Oh, really? So you're really
For example, I had a very interesting and successful project, coaching education. I started to develop it in
Where was yours?
2011, and I was one of the first people who developed, who bring coaching in school, and I work
I
with
can imagine.
people, with
Otherwise, it's becoming
school
quite late.
teachers, and
You
I
started already
go
working
around
that,
the
or just for your
campus.
kids?
Yeah, it was a great. I provide online conferences and gather a community around me. But then I
I work in
understand
Amsterdam,
that
for
this
Van
community
Amsterdam,
was driven by my
from the
my
Zuidas.
energy.
You know the Zuidas?
And my
The
goal
Zuidas
was
in Amsterdam, where
create
all the big
sustainable
offices, the
community
lawyer
that
firms,
I can
banks.
go back. Community will
Oh,
survive,
okay.
but it's not
Just
survive.
for visiting a couple of
And
monuments and that.
maybe 3 years, maybe 4 years ago, yeah, I give up.
But
Yeah, I was disappointed.
3 years.
That okay, if this community not survive without
Yeah, exactly.
without my energy,
Yeah.
without
Yeah.
my driving my energy,
Do you live
maybe
here
this
with your
topic is
family?
not so important that people gather it with me, but not with this
Yeah,
topic.
yeah.
And I give up.
So you've been here also in Europe.
Is
And
it-
I change, so I do some other things.
Were you
Do you
exhausted?
like it?
I'm exhausted, yeah. I was
Feeling
tired. My energy
Drained.
drained.
Yeah,
I was drained.
yeah.
Now, do you,
Yeah, because
what do you
it
think
was a
about this,
voluntary project.
this
I didn't
leader?
have money from this, and I spent all of my energy. I got a lot of social capital, but not so money. And then I changed, switched to business project and get social capital.
Also
Money.
stepping outside your
Yeah,
comfort
I'm in that process, right? So I'm the founder of a blockchain-based fashion e-commerce SaaS solution that is solving the sizing issue in online fashion shopping.
Now, are you a scrum master?
So the size chart right now is so random. Like a medium in Amsterdam is a different medium anyway, and well, it's just completely arbitrary. And so to solve that, we combine shopper biometric data with garment data. What that means, is that we measure you, and then we measure the clothing, and then we tell you how well it's going to fit you. How we measure you is with a 3D model. So you don't have to go anywhere or do anything where the size chart would be. It just activates a camera that you stand in front of and you measure yourself in seconds.
Oh, Ethos, yeah, that's
and then
that's
we
a
have
store,
platform.
yeah.
Anyway, so my struggle, right? So
No,
I built the
exactly,
whole
I know
concept.
this.
I did the market research. I've done everything, and now it's just the financial projections that are the most difficult for me, and I am so close to giving up. And everyone who supports me is like, this is such a small hurdle, but I'm like,
What can we do to
exhausted.
fuck things up?
Yes, we have fucked everything.
But I'm not going to give up.
Not give up. Yeah,
Another demonstration.
Insult people.
Management-wise, what can we do in leadership style to mess things up?
Yeah, insult people and isolate them, I guess, things like that. Belittle people in front of other people.
Hey,
You know,
I'm not asking you, Simon.
I see what you did there. I'm totally insulted.
If you're gonna fight, let us get a beer first.
Yeah.
Any other stuff? I'm sure we can think of more.
Sure, actively not listen to each other.
Yeah. True.
Change teams constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also true.
Yeah.
Sabotage results.
Going solo, like shooting for yourself.
Yeah, stick to your own agenda instead of the best of the group.
Stop investing in your own people.
Yeah.
Give up.
Of course. Yes.
Don't clarify your goal and go different directions.
Yeah.
Try their mistakes.
Yeah.
Or bring or inject negativity into the team. And, you know, like, as an example, I think there's a CEO who said, you know, when he walks into the building in the morning, everyone's looking at him. So it's always good to smile, even if you feel maybe your life is complete shit, the company's going to crap. But, you know, you better not convey that to all the rest of the people because they're looking at you as you are the leader of this company.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's important, you know, in that respect to not convey that kind of negativity.
Well, it depends if that hides.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
it limits transparency on the actual situation, if you
Yes.
know things are going to go to shit and people need to get laid off, and still you're strutting around with a big smile.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nothing's
that's
going
right.
on, guys, but you're all gonna be out.
Yeah.
Might not be the best thing.
Unless you're the CEO, then it's probably the best thing, but it's probably not good for Scrum Master.
What's the biggest takeaway of the night?
Great pizza.
Great pizza. Okay. That's always the best takeaway.
I quite like that these structures are a lot. Like I got the beach, I'm surprised that I both got a lot from this workshop and I also gave both a lot. And these structures all can really contribute. Everything builds on another. Like we did the first team perspective and then the thing later built on it as well. And we heard other people reuse the questions that were on the wall.
Yeah, and we had to adapt it a little bit because the horrible time wasn't on our side. Because it would have been even more.
And it's to know that you know those things as well, but to be refreshed about them and to have new realizations as well about those things. Maybe to also layer them together.
Leadership wise, what are you going to do?
Different perspectives is a big takeaway, because you can't get bogged down in your own thoughts and your own situation. It's really refreshing to hear about other people's ideas or struggles or whatever.
Yeah, you're not alone. Leadership wise, what are you going to take back to your own practice situation? Yeah.
I'm going to build a boundary.
Good luck.
And then one in line with what you said, like don't get bogged down.
What's up?
And I realized like I really do that a lot of the time, and it's really safe and comfortable to just stay in my own mind space and just like where it's known and comfortable, but actually to make a difference, I feel like I really need to step out of my comfort zone more. That was my idea.
A therapist always is very annoyingly right when he says if you want to change something, the whole situation, you need to start with yourself. Unfortunately, he's always right. Right, now I got to change.
Yeah.
No, I want you to change, not me.
Yeah. But probably the only way that that other person changes is when you change. So
Exactly. I need you to be more open, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It's that mirror sort of reflection.
Yeah. What about you, Tom? Any additional questions?
No, I think most is already said. I think the main goal was to take you out of your known pattern and see something else, and also that was actually the last practices what creates the most unwanted result, because we always, that's a solution, this is where we need to go, and then you hit the wall, and then damn it, my approach is not working, but we don't take another spot before we approach it again. And I'm just thankful that you all joined us and did this with us, because it was a huge experiment for us. It was the first Pizzagility meetup, and also the last one under this umbrella.
Under the umbrella of Mastering Agility.
That's correct. Because we transition into NL Scrum, so we will combine these communities. So there will be another one in June already, actually, with takeaway. So,
yeah, Just Eat, Takeaway, and Yesterday. Perfect organization to do it with. Takeaway, pizza, good stuff. Yeah.
Can you do this meetup regular basis, weekly basis? We'll love to have pizza.
so no worries.
Every Thursday.
Much drive. We'll be back here in 2 months from now.
Yes.
So that's the next thing we do.
Yeah, that's funny because I was talking to the Just Eat Takeaway, Just Eat Takeaway, and they said, well, we have to see whether we have budget to get pizza. What the hell? This is your core business. Anyway, this is going to be transitioned to the NL Scrum group together with Lawrence Bonnema, Evelyn Rose, and such. So we'll definitely be running these more. I'll notify you with on Meetup page as well. Now it's time for beer.
Who won the prize with the Post-its?
You already did. It's an honorary trophy.
You get free beer.
Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, can I just take 2 minutes?
Yeah.
I'm just surrounded by very smart, experienced, and talented people. So I'm the founder of a tech startup called Stylexa, and it's solving the sizing issue in online fashion retail, because no one can really find the right size when they're shopping online. So we collect shopper data, so your measurements, and we combine it with the measurements of clothing to then recommend how well something will fit you, not just if you should get a small, medium, or large. And we use 3D modeling, so you can just body scan yourself in seconds. You don't have to do it anywhere. You can do it while you're shopping. And then we are basically a B2B2C. So I've built the business model. We are a blockchain business, but we just need, need financial models to be fleshed out properly, because it's a pretty massive project, and we just don't want to undervalue ourselves and then screw ourselves by not giving it a good try, because we're the first of our kind. So if anyone is experienced in writing the business models or the actual numbers of novel businesses, especially at early stage, then please let me know, because I need that help. Thank you, guys.
Good luck.
Thanks.
I've got a friend who's doing a fashion business model thing. She's fleshed out financials down in France. Then I think it's France. Grenoble. Is that in France?
Cool.
Yeah.
Grenoble.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like it's in Switzerland because it's so far away.
Yeah. So honestly, what I think it is just sitting down together. I tell you how it operates, and you basically just translate that into a number. Because I can talk through it. I just translating it into something that makes financial sense, appropriate for investment is literally the ask.
I'll give you a phone number. You can give her a call.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
One further question was,
sorry, this is too much.
Why is it a blockchain thing?
Will there be a good conversation here?
Yes, it will. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, I definitely need a beer. That was so much fun.
Good.
Ah, but I think secretly the pizzas are